kind of hot. Maybe not too bad. Hopefully the Teflon's fine. Ooh, the bolt's hot. What up, tread heads? Welcome back to the Tread Life. Today we are going to be installing Hydro Assist on the 4Runner. Stay tuned. Okay, so I know Hydro Assist isn't that fancy. It's been done a billion times. Mine's a little bit different though because it's a super low 3-link build and I'm running into a little bit of packaging issues, and I was gonna take you guys along with me while I solve this problem because I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks. I've got everything. I mean, I've got my redneck fully rebuildable RAM. I've got a hose on here just for like some mock-ups so I can know where those are gonna go. I've got the box tapped and resealed and ready to go. I just need to get it all in the rig. So I'm hoping I can get that done today and you guys can follow along. All right, so as I mentioned before, Hydro Assist is nothing new, I'm sure, to any of you. Hydraulic assist, RAM, attaches to the steering box, adds some flow to either side to help the RAM push when you're in tight spots or up against rocks, and helps with bigger tires. Also, it's basically a perfect steering stabilizer because you've got 100% force on either side of this RAM to keep the tires and tie rod from moving. Anyway, my situation is a little bit different. It is 3-linked in the front and everything is very, very tight.
Do it like a tiger.
I don't have a lot of space for any of this stuff to move. So as this travels up and down on either side, I've got different bars that are going to be in the way. So when the right side comes up, it squishes into my track bar, also into my drag link. When the left side comes up, actually there's quite a bit more room on the left side, and something that I've been kind of eyeballing is maybe being able to attach it to there and come on the top side of our drag link. But as of right now, I'm just trying to find a spot. So I've considered going here, considered going on the diff. So I've got these hoses here so I can get an idea of kind of where that will sit. Basically what I need to do is turn the wheels all the way to the right because this bar gets, extremely close to our diff cover on this side, and also going the other way gets extremely close to the truss. So I'm really running out of space up front, but hoping that I can figure out some solution here to make this work. So let's get into this. I got the front jacked up, and looking down this way gives you a really good idea of how all these bars stack up. And so as this bottom travels up, it goes right next to our track bar here. So that's kind of what I'm up against, is where I can get all this stuff to fit without it crashing into each other. And my two options I'm kind of leaning toward, really 3 options, is coming off of here and having it run right across the top like this above our truss, which isn't really a bad one, except for the collar here. It's gonna have to attach to the RAM, and then this is gonna be right on top of it as it comes down. And the other more recent option that I was kind of just now noticing while I was talking to y'all is coming off of this side. I'm thinking that if I mounted it right here, coming off this way, it could go right in line on this side above our drag link here. So I could build a bracket that comes out 90s over and back in and captures this way. And then now I've got clearance all the way across and could even have the RAM right above it. Oil pan clearance is obviously an issue, but the track bar is going to hit before that. So I just need to keep kind of eyeballing this for a little bit, see what we come up with. Okay, I feel like this might give a little bit better context to what I'm working with here. So I took our springs out and raised the suspension all the way up, and this is what I'm up against. These bars are all extremely close to each other. And not just that, but you can see my oil pan clearance right there from the track bar. And this is kind of where I'm thinking of mounting the ram, right? So I've got it where I think this would work well coming off of here. And then this is what I'm working with for hoses. And we're already starting to get into some tight spots. So obviously this is worst case scenario and extremely unlikely that it would ever get up to this point. But, you know, coming off of a hard drop, having it come down and compress, the last thing I want is for this to all come crashing together. So, got to come up with a way to get this to work. I'm looking at maybe moving this back a little bit. And that gives me, I mean, about my minimum clearance here is going to be probably there for me to be able to brace this off of that as well as come off of here. And even then, I'd have to check and see because this steering arm is going to swing back the other way. So this is starting to get really, really tight.
A squeeze really tight.
I don't know if this location is going to work. Okay, so we move over to this side, and as you can see, again, we are dangerously close to pretty much everything. The hoses we would probably have run up and out, going straight back, and try to keep them away from our exhaust, going back that way. The ones I currently have will be too long to do that, so I'll have to figure out how to make that work. And then also our last item is going to be down that way as it gets close to our differential. That's all the room I have for the clamp. So maybe to there, possibly. Yeah, about there is what we're running into. So again, this is my dilemma. This is the issues that I have trying to put this rod anywhere up here. And I don't really know, don't know what I'm gonna do. So let's keep trying. Okay, I think I've come to a decision.
Coming to a decision.
I'm gonna go right here. It's gonna be right in line with the tie rod. I've got enough room off of this that if I just turn it and angle it away from the diff, I think we'll be able to clear. I'm gonna go check the clamp now and make sure that that's not gonna hit, or if it does, just, you know, barely touch it. And then this side will be just slightly lower so that I can get a bolt in and out of it. So roughly like this. And I think I've got all the space that I need to do that. I'm just gonna have to figure out what's the easiest way to...
Easy way or...
make a bracket. Maybe I'll come straight off the axle here and just come straight out. That might work pretty good. Take some 1/4-inch plate and just go straight back. And off of there, that's just the clamp. Just grab the clamp and see if that's gonna hit. All right, I got the clamp put on, and much like everything else on this build, I've got the absolute bare minimum clearance there. However, it does clear. Doesn't hit anywhere. Goes right by, goes right by. So that's really our only fear. It goes this way, goes that way, slides through there perfectly. And that's really our only worry right there, is clearing the diff. And the steering is obviously pulled all the way this way. Oh, maybe not. kidding. Oh no, I didn't have the steering turned all the way. Oh, I think it might actually hit now. Well, maybe not. It still slides. I can still slide it, and I don't even really have it that tight. See if I can spin it. Ah, no, I think that's actually resting on it just like that. But you know what? We might even be able to might be able to shave that down a little bit. Now we're at full stop. So I thought we were at full steering angle stop here. I actually don't care if it comes into contact with it as long as it's not going to press in and damage it. Although that could possibly loosen that clamp a little bit. I don't know. Maybe when I tighten it down, it might actually clear even better. I know there is a little bit of room on the inside of that, but the ring gear does run right pretty tight to that cover. That was my fear. Okay, so I think I got some good news. If I have it clocked at about a 45, just like that, it actually will sneak right through there without causing any damage. So it might just barely graze it, but our steering is still at full stop, and I can push this through here. It's knurled on this clamp, so which is great. It's a super grippy clamp. Also, I sell these on the site under AJK Off-Road. Really cool clamp. And I should be able to still get the screws tightened in on this side. I think this is gonna be good. Let's do it. Okay, so I think contact averted. I got this kind of mocked up here. Bear with my little crude mock-up that's being held up with a cable tie.
Please excuse the crudity of this model.
But if I go right there off of this point of the axle, and I could even do something that mounts to this steering stop, which would be great to have additional, stoppage from going that way. Then have that ram go right behind the tie rod and into the back of that on the clamp. It's actually not even gonna reach to the diff. So it's not even gonna come into contact. So I think this is our final look, just like this. And you know what? That axle, it's not as low as it could be, but that's okay. Who cares? It's up high, it's out of the way. The actual rod's not gonna get hit. The ram might someday take a little hit, but maybe I do a little skid that just comes in front of it and covers that from even getting any damage. So cool, let's do it. Well, shoot, after a kind of last minute check on some of these brackets, I realized this is already a 5/8 bolt. I can very easily just extend that out, build a little 90 with a plate down below to box that in, and have the same mounting point as my track bar, which is obviously extremely sturdy already. And I mean, if I was really worried about it, I could put another brace right there, but I'm really not. That thing is already holding the side of the vehicle from going left to right.
Slide to the left.
The axle from going left to right. So I'm thinking that keeps that so much higher. It's above the tie rod. And then also the hoses can run right next to the track bar. That one's gonna be a little bit too long, I think. So I'd have to get a little bit shorter one for the steer right side. But even if I didn't, I had this loop back around this way and went back up to the steering box. Shoot, I think this is gonna be the way. I think that's a much better solution. It's nice and high and tight. I'm doing it that way. Here's a look at it from the front. Be right behind the tie rod. Have our hoses come across right through there and up to the steering box. Yeah, it's money. Let's get some bolts. So I've got that bunch of extra Barnes 4-wheel drive track bar mounts that are already pre-drilled for 5/8. So I'm just gonna start cutting these up and making something that I can make some tabs out of. All right, so here is the clamp side mount. Got my 5/8 bolt, a couple washers. Ended up buying the wrong washers when I went to the store, so now I've got just kind of a mismatched set. But anyway, no worries. This is gonna sit just like this, and you can get it kind of tacked up on this side like that. And then I am going to get that leveled out and weld it on there. This is going to be the side that goes to the tie rod. I dig it. Well, I made a bit of a miscalculation. So I forgot that the frame side track bar is 5/8, and this one is actually 9/16. I had to get these thicker bushings. It's the same rod end, same 5/8 rod end, that I had to bush down to 9/16 to fit this hole. So my 5/8 bolt actually will not go through there. So what I'm gonna have to do, this rod end is still gonna work. I can still run my bolt through there like that. I'm just going to have to bush it down to be the same depth as these ones. If you'll notice, these two bushings are a little bit different. That one on the left is taller, which is the one that I need, but I need the mounting face to be the same right there. So I'm gonna have to grind this one down in order to match this side, which not a big deal. Just something I didn't see coming.
I didn't even see it coming.
All right, day 2 of installing. Actually, this is like the 5th day if you include the steering box and everything else. Day 2 of working on the actual fabrication portion of getting this hydraulic ram installed. I didn't get it done last night because, well, let's be honest, I never get anything done on the first try or in the first day or typically in the first week. If you bring in, I'll remind you what we were doing here. This is our hydraulic ram. I'm gonna mount it to the same spot as our traction bar on the axle side using the same through bolt. Had to drill out both sides of this and then shave down the bushings on the track bar side. This is currently the depth that I think I wanna go with. This 4 washer, maybe a single washer or 2 washer here, and then our 1/4 inch bracket that I'm gonna use to box this in right here. And what's up, dude? Hi. Right now I'm going to hook up the other side of the ram with our bracket that we made that goes on the tie rod and see if this is gonna work in full stroke at full squish, and then I'll know that it'll work all the time. All right, so currently we are at full lock driver's side. I got my trusty helper Dewey in here. He's gonna turn the wheel for me. Go ahead and turn the wheel all the way the other way.
Which way? That way?
Just turn it, please. See if this thing will. There you go. Just have this kind of lightly clamped on there to see.
My pants are falling off.
Keep turning.
Do I stop?
Keep going. All right, so we are getting a little bit of the rub on this bolt right here against the tie rod, but again, this is only at full stuff that we should have any issues. So I'm gonna let it down and see if it needs, if it's gonna hit anywhere else. All right, I cinched the clamp down a little bit more so I can see kind of how this thing goes. All right, go ahead and turn it back the other way. See, that's kind of what I was after, is hopefully that would stay upright as it goes away. Keep going.
I am.
Still got clearance in there.
It won't turn in.
Is that all the way?
Yeah.
All right.
Now do I turn it the other way?
Nope, you're good. All right, so our double shear bracket is getting welded. I went ahead and ran a bolt through there, squared it up to here, and this clamp is just so that when that cools, it doesn't start to pull away. My plan is to, obviously that's a big fat tack, but actually that weld turned out pretty nice. I like that one. Getting better at going downhill. My plan is to weld across the inside of this, the back side, and hopefully this bottom side. There's not a lot there because of the hole that was in that bracket. And then I'm gonna have to take this off to weld the inside of it and then figure out a way to keep it open, because again, we don't want this to cool and start bending back the other way. So I have to figure out how I'm gonna do that, but we want that inside corner welded too. Now, keep in mind, this is kind of overkill. I mean, obviously you don't want the bolt hanging off the end. That's a single shear point of contact. This is a double shear, so this is going to keep pressure on this plate backed into this, so that bolt doesn't have the ability to come this way. Also, we're going to run just about the smallest gap that we can on either side of this, and overall, I mean, this is turning out kind of how I envisioned it, so yay.
I love it when a plan comes together.
All right, well, got the inside and outside of our double shear bracket finish welded. Now I'm going to burn it in here, across the top, hopefully get something across the bottom here, take it out, and then run something there on the inside. Also, I forgot to mention, whenever you're welding near your shocks, be sure to protect them somehow, some sort of shock sheath, shock condom, if you will, for your protection. All right, so I was able to get backside, some on the bottom, some up here on the top. Our moment of truth right now is gonna be, does the bolt come back out? Which it should. Let's find out. Yes, popped right out. By the way, I was talking about protecting the shocks, and I actually got a tiny little BB right there on the Heim. I was able to get it off. I do have more of these Heims, but it's kind of funny. I ended up getting just one tiny little BB right there. But anyway, it's kind of hot. Maybe not too bad. Hopefully the Teflon's fine. Ooh, the bolt's hot.